Welcome everybody to another Printify webinars. My name is Martin and it's my pleasure to be your host today. And whether you're watching live or you're watching on repeat, we have a winner for you because we are joined by not only a very successful Printify merchant, but also TikTok superstar, Jenny from JennyFromTheShopp. Jenny, how you doing today? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share my story tonight, or today.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, she has one heck of a story to tell, and you're certainly not going to want to miss it because it is a story of success. It's a story from beginning to end, and hopefully you will be able to take something from it and apply it to yourself to make you a more profitable merchant, because that is the goal of these webinars. We hope you can watch these, take in the information, and apply that and make some money, put it in your pocket, okay? So thank you again for joining us. Now, just to get a few things out of the way before we get started, I want to test out the chat feature, because as we go through, if you have questions, please put those into the chat. Our moderators, Christophs and Sarang, will collect those, and we'll have a live Q&A session at the end of today's presentation, and Jenny and I will be happy to answer your questions. So let's try it out. In the chat, let us know where you're from. To put in the city, the state, the province, the country. Let us know where you're joining us from. Always love to see how international the crowd is. I know a few of you have already been putting that in. Hello, Michigan. Hello, Denver. Hello, Pennsylvania. But go ahead and do that, test it out. And again, as those questions come along, please put those in, okay? All right. So we are going to be giving away a few prizes. If you're new to Printify webinars, you know we give away some prizes. What we will do is at the end of today's presentation, we will have a link put into the chat. And based on the information presented in today's webinar, you'll have the opportunity to answer a trivia question. And 3 lucky winners who answer the trivia question correctly will be selected to win a Printify webinars hoodie, a personalized Printify webinars mug, and $50 of Printify sales credit put directly into your account. And speaking of your account, at 2 points in today's presentation, we will be giving out a coupon code. And the first one of you that enters that coupon code into your Printify account will win $50 of Printify sales credit. So navigate to the drop-down menu, click on that little green button on the top right-hand side of your Printify account, go down to where it says payments, scroll down to where it says coupons, and get ready, okay? One lucky winner will win $50 of Printify sales credit, and we'll do it twice, okay? All right, well, now that is out of the way, I want to talk about today's presentation. And we're going to cover a few things here. We're going to talk about Jenny and her background. We're going to talk about her first steps in print on demand. We're going to talk about how important it is to target holidays as a print on demand seller. We're going to talk about how she found success with Printify and with Etsy. She's going to share some of her valuable tips and tricks that I know you're going to love. And she's going to talk about how helping others is a passion of hers that goes along with her being a TikTok influencer. Again, that's Jenny from the shop on TikTok, okay? And of course, we'll talk about what you should take away from today's presentation. And then again, the live Q&A session that I promised you, okay? But for those of you, I would like to invite you, everyone listening, whether you're watching it live or you're watching this on replay, to join me for a live Q&A session where you can sit down with me. I do 2 Q&A sessions a week, one on Monday, one on Wednesday. And how I like to do it is whoever shows up, I turn the microphones on, I turn the camera on, and we talk about whatever you want to talk about, what troubles you're facing, what sort of sales strategies or products, things like that. So, and it's a free session. So we're going to put that into the chat right now. I'll give you a reminder at the end of today's presentation as well. But go ahead and click that link. Join me. We can have a one-on-one session, a live Q&A session, and I'd be happy to do whatever I can to make you more profitable. Okay, Mondays and Wednesdays. But that is enough about me. Let's talk about the star of today's show, Jenny from JennyFromTheShopp. Jenny, tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll take it from there.
Sure. Thank you, Martin. So basically, I had always wanted to be a teacher. I was a teacher for 8 years, and pretty quickly into my teaching career, I started to feel burnout. And it wasn't until I had my daughter when I felt like extremely burnt out and tired. And I was just like, how am I going to keep up with being a teacher and a mom and all the things, you know? And a little bit of a background, even before I had my daughter, my husband and I would go to Greece every single summer. So we would, by the end of every summer, I would get like the end of summer blues and be like, oh, I got to go back to teaching. And we would always dream like of another way. We're like, there's got to be a way that we can just like stay here a little longer, and not have to go back to our jobs. And so that was kind of like our background, the beginning of our why. So once I had my daughter, I was like, I definitely need to figure out another way. I wanted to stay home, watch my daughter grow up. I wanted to travel back and forth to Greece freely, but I had no idea how this was going to happen. And I had always wanted to write a children's book. So again, I have no background experience to this, but I just wanted to figure out a different way. So I researched how to write a children's book. I published it on my own through Amazon KDP. I thought that's what was going to make me the big bucks. Only sold it, to some family and friends, which was awesome. But I, started diving into YouTube to try to figure out how I could market my book to get more sales on it. And while I was researching on YouTube, an advertisement popped up about Etsy and t-shirt shops. So I was like, I think I could do this. I just kind of like pivoted really quick. I'm like, that sounds kind of interesting. And this was in the beginning of the pandemic too. And my school had shut down for 2 weeks at that time. So I was like, well, this would be a nice little hobby to get my mind off of things right now. So I very quickly, spontaneously went to Amazon, and I purchased a Cricut machine and t-shirts and all the materials that I would need to start a t-shirt shop on a whim, a complete whim. I think it was like anxiety from the pandemic and everything. I spent like $500 that I barely had at the time to be spending on a what if project. But anyways, I was like all in. So purchased that, and then I jumped right back into YouTube, and I think I probably typed something into the search like how to start a t-shirt shop on Etsy. And then up came some YouTube channel or some YouTubes explaining how to make a t-shirt shop on Etsy, but through print on demand, to where you never have to touch a single product if you don't want to. You're just designing, you're making the designs for the shirts and putting designs on mock-ups and listing it on Etsy. You don't need all of the inventory or machinery or anything. So I was like, what? Like, that was the first time I ever heard of that. So I very quickly went back to my Amazon cart and canceled my order and got my $500 back, which was awesome. And then I very quickly jumped in to YouTube, and I'm like, how to start an Etsy print on demand t-shirt shop. And that's what, like, in a nutshell, like, started my print on demand journey. I dove in from that moment on. I was so hooked. It was like such a magical feeling to know that, like, it was just so crazy. I'm like, what, I can actually make designs but like not touch an actual shirt. It blew my mind, and I just really saw the opportunity, and I knew it was something new because I hadn't heard about it yet, like fairly new. So I just like dove all in and hit the ground running. So that's like basically how I got started with Etsy print on demand. I can continue on with my story if you want, but that's how I found out about it.
So in 2 hours, you went from almost buying some printing equipment to do it all yourself to scrapping it all and then going straight into print on demand. So right from Jump Street, you're starting $500 ahead. That you can count that as your first profit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
let's talk about your story. Let's take your story to the next step, because you have a very interesting tale to tell. Because not only were you able to throw away the 9-to-5 work week and do print on demand all the way, but you got to move to a very exotic location. So let's go into how that happened, about how you went from starting your print on demand business and then now ending up in Greece living the dream. So let's talk about that first year, okay?
Yeah, cool. And to just give you like a snapshot of the timeline. I love this timeline. So I started in spring of 2020. I started my Etsy print on demand shop. By spring of 2021, I was walking into my boss's office and saying that I would not be returning the next school year. And by spring of 2022, we were moving to Greece.
Okay. How awesome did that feel to walk into your boss's office and give your boss the news?
It was nerve-wracking because I didn't really tell anybody that I was doing this, which we can get into later, but I think that was a huge part of my success is like I blocked out the noise of others. Because I thought like a lot of people might have told me like, what are you doing? Like, no, like you need your teaching career, like you need that stability, you know? So I didn't tell anybody because I was afraid of like what people would think. Only like my husband and my brother and my parents like knew, and a select few friends, you know, I kept it small. So like, it was kind of shocking to my coworkers and my boss to like hear that. But it felt good. A huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. And it was kind of scary at the same time because I was like, am I really, like, it happened pretty quickly to where I'm like, is this really happened? Like, this was really possible, you know? So
Okay.
it was big, overwhelming emotions, but in a good way.
Okay. Well, let's take it back to to the beginning of your print on demand journey. What
Yeah.
would you say was the biggest key to your success right at the beginning?
I would say one, like just when I found out about this opportunity, just going with the flow with it and like saying yes to the opportunity and like researching it and seeing like how other people were successful with it. And just like diving all in, basically. I was like, this is my way out. Like this, I have to make it work, you know? So I would say just being completely open to the opportunity and seeing
Okay.
the vision.
So diving in, taking it seriously, and making that commitment to see it through, right?
Yeah, there was no other way. I was like, why not? Why, like, if other people are successful in this, like, why not me, you know? And I didn't have any background experience in this, but I was like a sponge. I was like, I'm going to learn every little possible thing about this and become successful. And I didn't know if it would happen in a year or 5 years. I didn't know, but I didn't care. I was like, I'm going for it.
Okay. Okay. So right at the beginning, did you start slow? Did success come quickly? Let's talk about that.
Yes and no. So I would say, like, when people hear my timeline, that sounds like a pretty quick success. But when I look back into every day, week, and month of those years, I put in a lot of work. In the beginning, it was slow. So I put up like 25 listings initially, probably, right? And I was like, wow, I have a whole shop filled. I'm gonna make so much passive income from these 25 listings, because the first like couple listings and designs like take you a while, right? So I was like, my shop is done. I have my 25 listings up, and like the sales weren't coming in yet. I think like maybe a couple started coming in. So I had to like quickly learn that I had to put in way more work than just putting up 25 listings. I had to learn that I needed to be in my shop every single day, because, you know, in the beginning, I just thought it was like completely passive, and that once you get listings up, you don't even have to like be in your shop, but like you need to be in your shop every single day, and you need to be listing every day, especially in the beginning. So it was kind of like a slow start, and but the few sales that I was making, I was like, wow, this is legit. Like, there are strangers from around the world finding my products and buying them. So that's when I was like, this is the first side hustle where I don't have to bother my family or friends to buy my products. People are legit finding them through Etsy. So I thought that was really cool. That was eye-opening to me. So I was like, I just need to continue to figure out like what I'm doing right and how can I do more of it to get more sales. And it was a slow roll the first couple months, to the point where I actually got frustrated. And not many people know this. I don't know if I've shared this like to many people, but I think it was that first June and July that I was like, I am done. I'm not doing this anymore. It wasn't me. I wanted to be able to quit my job right away, and I wasn't making that money yet. So I was like, I need to find something better. So June and July, I stopped. I kept my shop up, but I stopped listing. I felt discouraged. I found out about Amazon FBA, and I started looking into that, and I saw that I could make a lot of money through Amazon FBA. So I got into that, and while I was waiting for my product to come in for that, it was going to take like a month or two to come in from China. I was like, maybe I'll dabble a little bit back into Etsy print on demand while I'm waiting. So this was now in like August. I took off June and July. I'm like, forget you, Etsy, you're not making me enough money. But August, I'm like bored. And I started listing fall items, fall and Halloween. And my sales started picking up quickly, way quicker than they were in the beginning weeks and months. So I was like, whoa, all right, forget Amazon FBA. I'm with Etsy print on demand now. And then I just hit the ground running from there. That Q4 like showed me so much potential with this opportunity, and I just never stopped.
That just shows the potential of print on demand merchants to find success by targeting those holidays. There you are at the end of the summer, getting your stuff up for fall, preparing ahead of time, which is always good.
Yeah.
Get your stuff up early for the upcoming holidays, and then Halloween hits, boom, your sales take off, and then you're right in the middle of the Christmas season, and then it's just a madhouse. That's
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. I want to get back. I want to get back to your story, but I want to put a pin in it right here, and I want to ask you, why Printify? Why did you choose Printify as your go-to solution for print on demand?
Can I be honest with you about something? I think you and
Please
I
do.
so Printify actually wasn't my first provider that I started with. I'm not gonna like say other names on here, but I started with a different print provider just because that was all I knew. And nothing against them, they got the job done. But around COVID times, the shipping speed was like extremely slow. And I kept hearing that Printify had a little bit of a faster shipping speed at that time, but I still wasn't sold on switching over to you guys yet because all of my listings were synced to this other printing company. So I was like, oof, like what's that going to be like transferring everything over, you know? So I would say about a year in, I joined a mentorship group with about 40 people, and the majority of the people were with Printify, and they all had amazing things to say about how you were offering the same brands basically as this other printing company, but the pricing was much better, and customer service is great, and shipping speed was still much better. So I took their word for it and I switched, and it was a noticeable difference in every way, how much better Printify was for me. So I took the time to transfer over all of my listings because it was worth it for me.
Okay. Yeah, I want to get back to what you said about mentorship programs and stuff like that. But I promised our audience that I was going to give away a little bit of money, so I want to do that right now. Okay. So for all of you out there, get your Printify accounts ready. Click on that little green button on the upper right-hand corner. Go down to where it says payments. Click on that, and then scroll down to where it says coupon, because I am going to give you our first coupon code for today. All right. Everybody ready to win? And if you do win, please let us know in the chat that you are the winner. And just so you know, you're not going to see any bells and whistles that says, hey, you won. It's just going to be deposited right into your account. And if you are unfortunate enough not to have put it in quick enough, it's just going to say this coupon doesn't exist because, well, we only made one coupon. So are you ready? Here we go. Today's first coupon code is Be Your Own Boss. All right, good luck. Hope everybody has a chance to do this. And congratulations to the winner. Again, let us know in the chat if you are that lucky winner. All right, but let's get back to the story. We're going to give away a little bit more money here at a little bit later. And then, of course, please pay attention. We're going to have that trivia question a little bit later, where you can be one of the 3 lucky winners to win a mug, a webinar, and another $50 of Printify sales credit. All right, but let's talk about mentorship, because this is an interesting interesting topic to discuss, because you went for your mentorship after you found success, which is something I completely recommend to everybody out there that's starting out. There is no sense in spending that money for the mentorship upfront, at least this is my opinion, because you have so much to learn about the print-on-demand universe, about the ins and outs of making listings and making sure that they sell, all the quirks about Etsy, things like that. And then once you have a good sense of what it is you're doing, that's when it's time to take that next step, which is exactly what Jenny did. So Jenny, please tell us a little bit about your mentorship, okay?
Yeah, so I had my Etsy shop up and running on its own, just from soaking in like so many YouTube videos and podcasts, anything that I could listen to for free, basically. I didn't have the money to like dish out in the beginning for extra help either. So I just learned as much as I could. I mean, Google is an amazing resource. YouTube is an amazing resource. TikTok, you're going to get some like little golden nuggets. So I like you can definitely build your own shop just off of the information that's provided on the internet. But I knew I was ready to take it to the next level because I saw people who were like just making a lot of money from this, and I was making decent money at the time, but I just knew that like I could take it to the next level. So I hired help, and it was a mentorship group. There was like 40 people in it, and I think a huge piece that was like really valuable about that was the people that I met in the mentorship group too, because you're surrounded by like-minded people, and you're surrounded by people who are like kind of in the same boat as you, and you're sharing like the same struggles and the same successes. And it was just a really pivotal time, I would say, in my Etsy print-on-demand journey, and it just kind of helped me take things to the next level.
Okay. So great, you got your mentorship. What was the biggest difference you noticed in your sales, in how you did business after you went through the mentorship program?
You know what? The biggest thing was I was being held accountable. I saw how hard other people were working, and I was like, whoa, like I'm not putting in nearly as much time and effort as these people are. So it kind of opened my eyes to like, you know, setting more goals for myself, being more consistent in my shop. And then we would all share like our monthly goals and go over that as well. So I think just like having that accountability with others was pretty big.
Okay. All right. Good. So now here you are. You've in less than a year, you've gone from a teacher to full-time print-on-demand merchant, and now you have developed this whole other side of your print-on-demand story that is on TikTok. So let's talk a little bit about Jenny from the shop. Okay, why TikTok? Why do you do that?
I kind of just fell into that. I just started sharing this opportunity for fun. And then a lot of people were questioning, like I didn't intend on becoming Jenny from the shop. It just kind of happened. I just wanted to like, I just wanted others to know that there's another way than your 9 to 5. If that's like, if you feel stuck in your 9 to 5 and want a way out to be able to like work from home or, you know, have more time freedom, which were big parts of my why. I just wanted people to know that it is possible, and not even just through Etsy print on demand. Like, this opened my eyes to so many other avenues as well. They're just, e-commerce is so big in general. We're like in this digital age now where I just feel like there's so many different ways to make money online. And I just wanted people to know that they're not stuck at their 9 to 5. And then it just, people started asking me questions about it, and it just turned into what it is now. So.
Okay. That's one thing I love about the print on demand community, because there's so many people out there like you that are offering free videos and free advice. I mean, there is a wealth of information out there on the internet, whether it's a simple Google search to get you started, or YouTube videos, or Printify webinars. There is so much information out there that you can take a hold of, regardless of where you are in your print on demand journey. So if you're at the beginning, there's no sense in coming out of pocket for all sorts of expensive programs, that sort of thing. That will come later once you've established yourself. But take advantage of the free and low cost stuff out there. And then once you have a good idea of what you're doing, that's when it's time to take the next step, like Jenny did. Okay, so thank you so much, Jenny, for being that kind of person out there online with Jenny from the Shop on TikTok. But what would you say are the biggest tips and tricks that you could offer to our audience today for success in print on demand, and Etsy for that matter?
Sure. So starting off, just be consistent in your shop. Know that you're going to be a little bit messy at first. It's okay to be messy. Everybody's messy before they get good at anything. Even Picasso was probably messy before Picasso became Picasso. You know, with anything we do in life, even when you're a baby, and you're learning to walk, you fall a bunch of times, you get up, you keep going. It's going to be messy. It's not going to come effortless to you. It's going to be a slow start, but just to keep consistent and keep listing in your Etsy shops. And I always say that your first goal should be 100 listings, because with 100 listings in your Etsy shop, you're going to get a really good feel of the listing process. You're going to get better at your design skill. You'll probably have made some sales at that point, and you can kind of gather some information to see what customers are liking in your shop and start to build your shop off of what is already selling. Kind of like I always say, follow the money. So if like one niche, one design starting to take off in your shop, create more things that are within that niche or like that design, and use similar SEO, meaning your titles and tags, to try to drive more similar traffic to your shop. So basically just staying consistent, getting to at least that 100 listing mark so that you can gather that research and follow the money, basically. Those are like my time beginner tips.
Okay, so staying committed, sticking with that commitment, 100 listings on your Etsy store, and whatever you do, don't give up, and take advantage of all that information that's out there to build your knowledge and the library of what it is you know about print on demand, so that you can apply it to be successful. Okay, things like Printify webinars. And speaking of Printify webinars, I have another coupon code for our audience today. Okay, this will be our second and final, so good luck to the people out there. Go to the little green button, boom, payments, scroll down to where it says coupons, and get ready to put in our second coupon code for today for $50 of Printify sales credit. Are you ready? Here it is. Jenny from the Shop, with 2 P's, and that's how you can find her on TikTok as well. So write it down and follow her on TikTok for awesome print on demand tips and tricks throughout the year. Jenny from the Shop, 2 P's. Congratulations to the winner. Again, put it in the chat if you do win, so we can all celebrate. Okay, and if you didn't win, tune in to our next webinar for a couple more chances. Okay, but wow. Okay, so Jenny, this has been absolutely awesome. I also promised that I would give another plug for my live Q&A sessions. Now, these are going to be on Mondays and Wednesdays, and you can join me and we can talk about anything. We can talk about getting started on Printify and Etsy. We can talk about where you are in your journey. I just want to do anything and everything I can to help you out as a merchant. So we're going to pop that link into the chat. Click on that, book yourself a spot, and I hope to see you on Monday and or Wednesday. But this is free, so come as early and as often as you like. But this is all in our effort. This is all in our effort here at Printify to support you and make sure you can be like Jenny. Throw away that 9 to 5, march into your boss's office and let your boss know that I am doing POD full time. Okay, but we promised you a Q&A session, so we've got all kinds of questions that we can go over today. Thank you so much, everyone out there, for contributing the questions. We appreciate that. Are you ready to answer a few questions, Jenny?
Sure.
Excellent. All right. Well, our first question today comes to us from Bill Shady. Thank you very much. Excuse me, Bid Shady, not Bill, Bid Shady. My apologies, Mr. Bid Shady. Okay, and Bid's question is, what's a good ratio from views and sales on Etsy?
So that's kind of a tricky one. I don't know. It kind of depends on how many listings that you have up in your shop. Like there's not really a clear-cut answer that I can give for that because there's a lot of factors that go into that. So I don't know if you have a clear answer for that, Martin, but I feel like that's tricky to answer because it depends on how many listings are in their shop and
okay. Well, what I would say is, without being able to give a concrete answer, my advice is this. Views are always great, but you want to convert them into paying customers. And how you do that is by making your case to them. And you do that through your product descriptions, through the keywords that you use, and the mock-up images in your storefront. Okay, if you're getting a lot of views, not a lot of people are buying, one or more of those elements are slightly off, and that's when you have to go in there and tweak that. Okay, be it the keywords, maybe you need to take advantage of a keyword research tool like eRank or something like that, or maybe your mockups just aren't appealing. So maybe you have to order some samples, take some friends down to the park at golden hour, take some pictures yourself, or deal with those titles. Any one of those elements is where you're going to have to do that tweaking. And then as you see those views convert into more sales, you're going to start to find a rhythm and pattern with the process. Okay, and then as you put up more listings, you're going to know, okay, I tried that and it didn't work, so I'm going to do it this way. So that would be my advice. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's a lot of like trial and error and tweaking to try to get those views into more sales. But I don't think there's like a general ratio that you should be looking for that.
Mm-hmm. Bigger is always better, though. Okay.
Yes, yes. The more views, the better, because that's showing that you have good SEO and your products are getting out there. But if they're not converting to a lot of sales, then you just need to make some tweaks to your listing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if you can generally get a conversion rate of about 3%, you're doing really, really good. So that's generally throughout e-commerce. But if you can get beyond that, you're doing really, really well. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm having trouble. Let's see. Desist Dawdling. Okay. Says designs in a shop. But how do you get the customers? How do we get word out if we are not extrovert? Okay, how do you okay, he's got designs in the shop, but how does he bring the customers in? How do you get the word out if you're not extroverts? Okay, well, I think we can apply a little bit of our last answer to that about the product title tweaking and keywords and product descriptions, that sort of thing. So yeah. If like Jenny said, if it's a bit slow at first, that's completely normal. Okay, it's a matter of tweaking and getting this process together and figuring out the ins and outs. Then you'll be able to figure it out. But as an extrovert, print on demand is almost the perfect business because you have no face-to-face contact with your customers. It's a business you can run from a laptop literally anywhere in the world with a Wi-Fi connection. So if you're an extrovert, you found the right business to be in, okay? Because the communications that you have with your customers are through your those product listings and mock-up images, and then the interactions you have with them through your customer service. And if you're an extrovert, that's kind of right up your alley, okay?
Yeah, and it's actually my favorite part of Etsy and print on demand together. I mean, people use Shopify as well, but I just use Etsy, and I enjoy Etsy because I don't have to be an extrovert on social media for my shops. So like I don't have social media for my Etsy shops. If you have the right SEO, meaning titles and tags, so the keywords that go into your titles and tags are things that people are typing into the Etsy search. And if you have the right keywords, Etsy is going to match your listing with the correct customer. So you don't need to be an extrovert. You don't need to share your shops with your families and friends. You don't have to share on social media. It's all about learning the ins and outs of the titles and tags and the types of keywords that people are going to be searching for your listing to pop up for them.
Okay. Thank you for your question, Desist Dawdling. Okay, next question is from Dina Latello. Thank you, Dina. This is how many listings in one niche to see success? Well, we covered that a little bit earlier. Hit that magic number of 100, right, Jenny?
Was it how many listings in each niche or how many listings in the shop? What was the
good question, because maybe this requires a more nuanced answer. It says how many listings in one niche to see success?
So I would say try to I would say don't just put up 1 or 2 listings per niche and then be like, oh man, that niche wasn't good for me, it didn't work out. You need to, if you're on to a certain niche, you need to dive into it, and I would say put up like at least 10 to 20 listings to test out that niche, maybe even shoot for 50. And if you start making sales in that niche, then you're just going to keep going with it and building off of that niche. But yeah, never like just put up 1 or 2 and sit and wait for the sales to come in. You got to put at least like 10 to 20, I would say.
Okay, good. There we go. Thank you, Dina. Our next question is from Kate Lee Creates. Kate Lee Creates. Thank you very much. Is it better to have a few great looking products or to put designs on as many products as possible?
So I mostly use t-shirts and sweatshirts in my shop. And then say a design takes off on a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, then I begin to put other products into my shop. Like I'll put that same design onto a mug, I'll put it onto a tote bag, but I don't really go off much more than those four types of products. So I start with t-shirts and sweatshirts and wait to see if it takes off before I add different products.
Okay, and that's kind of the cool thing about working with a company like Printify. If you want products to sell, we've got about 800 of them in our catalog, and we're adding new ones all the time. So chances are, if your customers out there want to buy something, you'll be able to find it in our catalog. So and it's not like you have to come out of pocket and buy 1,000 units and pay them to store them in a warehouse. You can try these new products and upload your designs to them, make them available to your customers. If they don't sell, well, you're not out a whole lot of money. Okay, but it's a great the print on demand business model is a great way to test out these ideas and theories. And if one catches on, well, there you go, you're off and running. Okay. All right, let's see here. This one comes from Debbie. Okay, Debbie, thank you so much. How do I adjust my prices with regarding shipping when your storefront is through Etsy? Shipping question.
So you would go into the listing and scroll down to the bottom and create a new shipping profile. And then you can name that shipping profile and you can use it as many times as you'd like. So I use the same shipping profile for every single listing. It's just called free shipping that I made one time, and I just choose that through each Etsy listing. Hopefully that helps. It's kind of hard because I'm not able to like share my screen right now and show you, but in simplest terms, that's what I do.
Okay. Good. I hope that answers your question, Debbie. Thank you very much, Debbie Cook. The next question is from Russ McCann. Do you create custom designs, or do you use template services like Canva?
I mostly create my own designs. I actually use GoDaddy Studios. I have Canva as well, nothing against Canva. It's just I learned first in GoDaddy Studios. I found it really easy to navigate, so I use that platform. But yeah, and there's free graphics in there that you can use, and you can combine with text and other graphics to make your own graphic.
Okay.
And you can also use like Procreate to actually draw or paint your own graphic on the iPad as well.
Yeah, there's a graphics tool out there for everybody. Like if you're super talented, like there's like Photoshop, which I'm no good at, so I don't use Photoshop. But then getting started using something like Canvas is a great way to get Canva is a great way to get your feet wet. And there's all sorts of other tools out there in between. So try one, try the other. A lot of them have like a free trial that you can kind of get the feeling for which one works for you. But again, it's going to be what works for you best. So try them out and see what works. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Russ. All right. Okay. Here's a good one from the She Perspective. Thank you, the She Perspective. Jenny, when you started, it was the start of the pandemic. What changes in the POD market had you noticed from then to now, and what things have gone back to normal?
So I don't really know what the market was like before the pandemic, but I would say everything is a lot smoother now with the printing companies. Everybody, the shipping speeds are all on time again. I would also say like different niches are selling now that might not have sold in the beginning of the pandemic, like bachelorette shirts, because people weren't able to get together for bachelorette trips during that time. I actually was able to like make some sales in my shop that had some relation to the pandemic. Like for example, like social distancing shirts, or shirts for brides that had to cancel their wedding. So that's just kind of a little side tip. If there's any events going on with the world, people are looking to buy shirts during that time. So I kind of was able to get some sales off of the pandemic in itself. And then now I'm able to sell bachelorette shirts and wedding shirts and baby shower shirts, because those things are happening again. So I would just say like the different niches kind of changed for what people can do now, as opposed to what they couldn't do then.
Okay. Well, and from our perspective, speaking big picture, what the pandemic did was it made a lot of people that were hesitant to buy things online become more comfortable with it, and that has continued here post-pandemic. So it really expanded the pool of potential customers for print-on-demand merchants like yourself, and it's been
Sure.
and as I said before, it has lasted until now. But we saw growth in areas like home design, home decor, that kind of stuff. One, you couldn't go to a store during the pandemic to buy that stuff, so you needed to buy it somewhere. So you bought it from online and print on demand merchants. Okay, but we've also seen that spike in home decor sales continue here post pandemic. So if that's something that you feel would be valuable to your customers, exploring home decor products might be something that you want to look into. But in a way, the pandemic was very good for online sellers. And again, we're seeing the reverberations of that now post pandemic. Okay. Thank you. Emily has a question. How many colors of each item do you use in each listing?
That's a great question. In the beginning, I would list like, okay, say I had a design, I would put it on like 10 different shirts in the beginning, all different t-shirt colors and like a couple sweatshirts. Now I don't really waste my time. I choose just a couple t-shirts, probably two, and that I put my design on, and I'll choose like one or two sweatshirts to put that same design on. And then if that design starts selling, if one of those shirts starts selling, then I will put it on as many t-shirt colors that I can, that I have mock-ups for. And then also other products, like I mentioned earlier, I'll test putting it on a mug and a tote bag as well. So I
Yeah,
just start small to make sure that the design is in demand first before I waste my time.
yeah, this is a very good question, because starting out, you might think that offering every color under the sun is a great way to get customers, but it actually is counterproductive. Okay, and it may seem counterintuitive, but offering too many colors, buyers have what's called decision fatigue, and they're overwhelmed, and then they decide to go on and buy from somebody else. So offering a limited amount of colors, I mean, is the way you want to go. And keep in mind that as far as the print on demand industry is concerned, black t-shirts, black sweatshirts, black hoodies, those are always going to be the number one sellers, and then followed by white and gray, and then all the other colors like navy come behind that. That doesn't mean that you can't sell an orange t-shirt or an orange sweatshirt, but if you're looking at the industry as a whole, those colors that I mentioned, black, white, navy, gray, those are going to be what people are out there looking for most. Okay, but offer your customers a pink t-shirt, and you'll sell one every once in a while too. Okay.
Actually, and
Oh,
I only put one color variation per listing. So that would, typically for one design, I have like 4 different listings. Because what Martin just said, I feel that it creates buyer's fatigue when you offer too many different color options. You're just going to click off your listing and click on back to Etsy to see what else is being offered. So I just do one color variation per listing.
okay. All right. The next question comes from. Oh, I don't think that last question was from Annie Ferreira, or excuse me, from Emily. Excuse me. Annie Ferreira has the next question. Can you run an Etsy store if you are not a U.S. citizen? Yes. The answer is yes. Okay. Good luck. Okay. Shanaz Sims asks, I don't want to charge a large amount for my items, but I want to have a 50% profit, which covers the cost. How can I make your products competitive without charging too much? Okay.
So typically you're not going to really have a 50% profit margin. That's kind of high. I would say it's typically like 30 to 40% profit margin. But don't worry about what other people are pricing their items as, because there's a market for everybody. There's a large demographic of shoppers on Etsy. So there's people who are going on there to look for the $8.99 shirts. And then there's the people who are going on there and they're totally okay spending $29 because they feel like the $8.99 one might be like cheap material, when really it was just the person who listed it thought that they could get more sales by putting it at $8.99, and it's the same brand t-shirt. So like you're going to get people who would never spend $8.99 on a shirt because they think it's too cheap, and the people who like are looking for the higher priced shirts. And I'm losing my train of thought was there a second part to that question? Oh, like as far as the profit margin, I think that a great profit margin for t-shirts and sweatshirts is to aim for like $8 to $10. So just keep tweaking your prices till you get between that amount. I think that's like a typical range.
Okay. Yeah, and there's nothing that says you can't price yourself above your competition as well, but you have to make the case to your potential customers that it's worth that extra money. And how you do that is through your listings, your description, your mock-up images, and the fact that your design is noticeably better than your competition. Okay, so make an objective review of your store, and in a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, your customers will tell you what that ideal price is, because they're either going to buy it or they're not. Okay, but this is a great opportunity for me to plug a webinar that we did a few months ago about pricing, where we do a deep dive into several different pricing strategies. So go to our YouTube page, to the live section, and you'll see our pricing webinar. Take a look at that. As I said, we do a deep dive into several different pricing strategies, and we loop in the fees and the shipping, so you get a comprehensive picture of how to price products based on a few different strategies. Okay, and while you're there at our YouTube page, be sure to subscribe, as I know a lot of you already have. Okay, so and watch our YouTube videos, because we're putting them out all the time about all kinds of cool stuff and everything in the print-on-demand universe, all designed to help you become a better print-on-demand seller. Okay, but we are running low on time, so we're just going to do a couple more questions, and my apologies that we didn't get to everyone's questions. Thank you so much for submitting them. Okay, where was it here? It was. Okay, Selena Spader de Augsburg asked, oh, what a beautiful name. Do we need a separate store for each niche?
Not at all. I have hundreds of niches in my shops. In my main shop, I have hundreds of niches. I always say the more fishing poles, the more fish. So with print on demand, if like let's say that apparel is like your main niche, and then your designs can hit, or apparel is like your product, your main niche, and then the designs that you place on your t-shirts and sweatshirts are going to hit all different audiences of people. So I just say, like, try as many different niches as you can, and then just always remember whichever ones start taking off, to continue building off of what's already selling.
Okay, and if you do happen to open multiple stores, just know that you can manage all of those stores from one Printify account. So no need to open several different Printify accounts. You can connect them all to one and easily manage them through one convenient Printify account. Okay, so if you have Printify premium subscription, it will apply to all those stores. No need to pay for several different subscriptions. Okay, great. Thank you very much for the question. We are going to do our last question, and it is this. It's coming from David Ostersky. And my apologies for butchering your name, but thank you, David. The question is, do you recommend free shipping to be better featured on Etsy?
Yeah, I do. I believe that Etsy shares people's listings more if they're offering free shipping. And I also see it as kind of like a psychological thing. People tend to gravitate more towards products that are offering free shipping.
Okay, well, there you go.
Any e-commerce business. So, but yeah, Etsy algorithm really likes free shipping.
Excellent, great, there you go, free shipping. You heard it from an Etsy expert. All right, well, thank you so much, Jenny. Thank you so much, audience. We are just about done with today's webinar, but we want to give away our last prize package. And that we're going to put a link into chat where you can answer today's trivia question and answer just a few more questions about how we did today, how you enjoyed the webinar, what you'd like to see from us in the future. And I promise you, it's only going to take 30 seconds. Okay. So, and you'll have a chance to win, 3 random people will have a chance to win a Printify Webinars hoodie, a Printify Webinars customized mug, and $50 of Printify sales credit. And Jenny, you're going to be giving away something too. Tell us what you're going to be adding to today's prize package.
My year-round Etsy niche and SEO kit. So it's going to give you year-round niches that you can be designing in with proven SEO that you can be using in those listings as well. And it's going to tell you the suggested listing dates for each niche.
Excellent. All right. Well, without further ado, Jenny, please give us today's trivia question. And don't you dare put the answer into chat, you cheaters. Hit the link and answer it in the survey, okay? Otherwise, your answer won't count. So what's today's trivia question?
How many listings should be your first goal in your Etsy shop?
Ooh, I hope you were paying attention because we said it a few times, okay? So hit the link, go to our survey, answer it. Good luck. I'll be in contact with the 3 winners. And please join us for our next Printify webinar, which will be in 2 weeks. You're going to love it. I promise. Thank you so much for joining us. Join me for my live Q&A sessions on Mondays and Wednesdays. And I want to give a big, hearty Thank you to Jenny from the Shop for coming on, sharing your story, answering the questions, and just being super awesome. So thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, and follow her on TikTok, Jenny from the Shop. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a Printify webinar, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.